April is Autism Month. So this month, if you don't think that it applies to you, that you have nothing to do with autism and autistic disorders, well, if the tendency keeps up, in 2025, 1 child out of 2 will be born with an autistic spectrum disorder. 1 out of 2. If you're young enough, that means it's going to be one of your 2 kids. If you're old enough, it's going to be one of your 2 grandkids. That's in less than 10 years. So if you don't think it applies to you, think again. Because even if you don't want kids, just ask yourself, what will be the burden on the school system, on the healthcare system, on our whole society, and the way that we get involved and that we deal with each other. So first in this month, please never judge a parent that has an autistic child. If you see them acting a certain way or doing certain things, until you've walked into those parents' shoes, do not judge. Because having a kid that has autistic disorder is basically a task for a whole family. And again, if you think you know about it, then just remember that it affects boys more than girls, but it still affects girls too, and they're often forgotten in this equation. Remember that 40% of those kids will never talk. That brings a lot of frustration in communication. And tell yourself that the disorder will keep up as the child grows older. And so if you don't think we have the resources when they're young, imagine as they're getting older, what the families must do, what resources they have to pull up out of their hats. But it's not hopeless, in the sense that we know the intervention, the key is early intervention. So the earlier we can stimulate that child's nerve system, the better off the child will be. That's why we aim all the OT and the PT and the chiropractic and all the other brain exercises when they're really young, because we know that's when the system is more plastic and that's when we'll have the better impact. So please share the message. There are chiropractors all over the place in Quebec, in Ontario, that are ready to serve those kids. No, it will not fix the problem, but it can help the families better manage what's going on, and it can help those kids to just have an increased potential, be able to function just that much better. And it will help all the other therapies function even better. But I would say the key is really not about in the intervention. It's about asking ourselves as a society, what are we doing to bring this up? Because those numbers are going up every year, every year. There is something we're doing that is affecting our children's nervous system. Because if 1 out of 2 will have autistic disorder, tell yourself that that is a neurodevelopmental disorder. That means that all the neurodevelopmental disorders are actually going up. And so that means the other kid out of 2 may be fine, but maybe have other developmental disorders like ADD, like dyslexia, like other neurologically based disorders. One of the culprit, is toxic charge. How much toxins we have in our environment with all the pollutions and the pesticides and everything we're putting in our kids' bodies. So as a society, we have the means to be able to slow this down if we all put our brains together and try to figure this out. Because as I said, even if you don't think it affects you, it will affect you in the future. And it will affect your brothers and sisters in all of our communities. And so if we can help, let's get together and help this. So that means give to the research foundations. Please go to the Autism Walk. Learn more about that condition. And together, we can help to make the world better for these children and for our children.